Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brad with Rare Breed JL. Got the beadlocks finally mounted up on the Jeep, took it out on its maiden voyage, and the scrub radius is dialed in. It's fantastic. It handles so much better on the road. It handles better off-road. I'm able to actually take advantage of my hydraulic steering assist that I have, and I haven't done any major wheeling today, just a few hill climbs and some sand, but really happy with how it turned out. I'll probably add to the back end of this video some of the process, just a couple of tips and tricks there's dozens of beadlock videos out there, how to mount them up, how to dismount them, but I'll throw a video in real quick, just kind of show you what I do and some of the tips or tricks that I use to make it easy. But anyway, appreciate you guys joining me today. Please like and subscribe. See you next time. Welcome back to the shop. I'm Brad with Rare Breed JL. Today I'm going to be mounting up some tires on some beadlocks. There's tons of videos out there on how to do this. I'm just going to show you a couple of tricks that I found to be helpful going through the process. So if you saw my kind of teaser video the other day, I've got these new set of Rocktrix 17x9 beadlock wheels from Rocktrix. They are in gunmetal gray. I've actually got a couple already mounted up on the Jeep. Going to show you a couple of tricks that work for me. The first thing I like to do, it depends on obviously the the make, the brand that you buy. The last set of wheels that I purchased, last set of beadlock wheels that I purchased were actually Dirty Life Roadkills. Anyway, they came with basically just 4 bolts holding them in. They're all installed, and they are really installed. So I've got a breaker bar here. The last thing you want to do is use an impact of some sort and round them off, shear them off. So basically, I grab a hold of the wheel, hold it tight. You can see that I've actually got to put a little bit of effort into that. Another trick is tape the end of your handles. If you don't, it's inevitable at some point it's going to slip out of your hand. Something's going to happen. If you tape it, you can hopefully prevent any type of scratches or marring to the finish of your wheel. So again, I like to tape the end of the wheel or end of the breaker bar. I'm going to break all these loose. I'm going to fast forward through this part of the video, and then I'll show you once we get to the next step. So now that I have them loose, I'll zip them off real quick. Now, if these were new, they'd have a mark on them, and basically you look at the tire manufacturer and determine if that mark means it needs to be 180 out from the valve stem or lined up with the valve stem. I've worn the marks off of these tires because they are not brand new, but I'm gonna get them balanced anyway. So we may have to add more weight than we would have otherwise had to add, but we're just gonna roll with it. This is just a mixture of soap and water. So obviously, I had a piece of cardboard down to keep from scratching the wheel. These actually come with this little protective ring around the bottom. Now it's time to get it on the bucket. On the bucket, now we just gotta get the tire seated, and that one. Sometimes you have to give it a couple of whacks with the hammer. Looks like it's got it. All right, excuse the mess. I've been working on some fiberglass the last couple of days. That episode to come. So, depending on the number of plies that your tire has, especially on the sidewall, will determine whether or not you need a spacer. And these happen to need a spacer. They are one of the nicer spacers that I've seen. They're actually aluminum, and they fit together like a puzzle. The spacers are approximately $35 per wheel, and they can be ordered directly from Rocktrix.com. There isn't a specific way they go. They've got the same machine finish on both sides. You just line them up with the holes and fit them together. You definitely want to make sure that face is clean. Should be. It's a brand new wheel, but no dirt that came off of the tire. All right. Now we're to the point where I'm going to fast forward through this video again. I've got 28 bolts to apply anti-seize to, and that's rather boring to watch. All right, so anti-seize is applied. I've got them basically in there hand tight. I like to go in a crisscross pattern even when I'm getting them snug down to hand tight before I start applying torque. Again, they do have anti-seize on them. I do recommend putting anti-seize on your beadlocks because they're dissimilar metals. You've got aluminum wheels and steel bolts. They are going to corrode, and when it comes time to remove the tire, you're gonna start breaking bolts off. So the one thing I will say is when you are torquing fasteners that have anti-seize or any other type of lubrication applied, you need to take that in consideration because as you torque, you're gonna surpass the torque requirement or specification before you actually hit it because of the lost friction. So a good rule of thumb is to subtract 10% from the highest value. So I'm gonna torque these to 10 to 14 foot-pounds first go around, then 18 to 24 the second go around. I'm gonna finish off around 20 foot-pounds because that's basically, roughly 10% less. And I just wanna make sure that I don't over-apply torque, given the fact that they do have anti-seize on them. I do have one of these electronic torque adapters on here. And the main thing I use that for is basically just double checking. If you have two numbers and they're fairly close to each other, then because this torque wrench has not been calibrated in some time. I also don't like operating it at the lower range. So 20 foot-pounds is within, the operating range. But basically I use the adapter to check my values just to make sure they're pretty close to each other. And they have been close. Like I said, I already have two wheels installed, or two tires installed on the wheels. So, but anyway, that's that. I have to set this up every time I turn it on. But again, I'm gonna go in a crisscross pattern. So I'm gonna start here, 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 here. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I think it's incredibly important. You want the ring to be tightened down on the wheel evenly. You don't want it to end up to one side. And I'm gonna show you another trick that I like to do here. So I like to take a paint marker, and what I like to do is go ahead and mark out. So I'll put a line through here, 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 and here. I'll torque those. Then as I go and I progress, I can make marks. When I come back for my second torque, I can just put an X on it, put another line through it, perpendicular to the line I've already created, and now I know that the torque value, or I've torqued every bolt. I just like to do it that way. I'm a little anal retentive, I know, but I love torque striping everything. That way I know it's been torqued. I don't have to remember whether or not I torqued it. And it's that visual confirmation. Plus, you can tell if it's moved. These, not so much. I'm not drawing paint stripes across my wheels. And the other thing is, if you don't like having, blue dots or whatever color paint marker you use, all you have to do is take a little brake cleaner and a Q-tip or something and just clean it off. It's not that big a deal. I personally don't care. It's not a fashion statement. But if it does bother you, you can easily wipe it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and start torquing. Again, gonna fast forward through this. If I come across anything or think I need to mention anything that, just kind of tips or tricks that I use, I'll let you know. But otherwise, I'm gonna get done with this. After I get 4 done, I take my impact and I just go ahead and zip the others down. That way I'm not spending excess time trying to get it to that torque range. About in between each one of those. Here's the other end. All right, that's that. So I'm gonna go put some air in this thing, go ahead and set the bead and get it mounted up. I appreciate you joining in today. Again, I know there's a bunch of different episodes and channels out there that feature beadlock mounting, but I hopefully helped you with a couple of tips and tricks that can, make the job a little easier. Again, please like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next time.